100 life-changing ancient quotes. Know thyself. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Our life is what our thoughts make it. You are what you repeatedly do. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. The unexamined life is not worth living. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Change is the only constant. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. The only way to deal with the past is to accept that it's gone, learn from it, and move on. The time is always right to do what is right. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. The biggest risk is not taking any risk. In a world that is changing quickly, the only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking risks. The only journey is the one within. We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. The only wealth which you will keep forever is the wealth you have given away. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your actions. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. The only sovereign you can allow to rule you is reason. The best way out is always through. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Our life is what our thoughts make it. You are what you repeatedly do. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. The unexamined life is not worth living. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. The only time to look down on someone is when you're helping them up. The only source of knowledge is experience. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The only thing you need to be successful is to have the belief in yourself. The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. The only true measure of success is the amount of joy one experiences. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. The only constant in life is change. The only way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. The only road to good taste is through hunger. The only thing that is certain is uncertainty. The only way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Don't watch the clock. Do what it does. Keep going. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. The only thing you need to be successful is to have the belief in yourself. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work, and the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. In the end, it's not the years in your life that counts. It's the life in your years. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person. Happiness depends upon ourselves. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. The only thing standing between you And your goal is the story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. The best revenge is massive success. If you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. Change your thoughts and you change your world. The harder you work for something, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. The greatest pleasure in life is doing what people say you cannot do. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. The only way to deal with the past is to accept that it's gone, learn from it, and move on. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. The way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger.